when I took the first payment of it was $700 a month. It was like it just felt good, It felt like, wow, this is kind of an exciting thing. So
Hello there, and welcome to this Fearless Coach Academy case study interview. Today, I get to interview Will Donahue, who's been an amazing client of ours and become a really good friend of mine. And so, Will, I want to just start by taking a moment to introduce you. Why don't you share who your coaching niche is, what you help people with, so people understand you and your coaching business a little bit better?
yeah, so I help Christian professionals find their purpose.
Notice how clear and specific that is. I love it. I love it. So many coaches have this kind of long response to that, and yours is dialed in with who you help and what you help them with. In terms of delivering your coaching, do you do that through one-on-one coaching? Do you do that through group coaching? What's your model for your coaching business?
Yeah, so I do one-on-one, and then I do once a week. I also do like a 15-minute kind of check-in and then that kind of stuff. So I think it was helpful to do. The 15-minute check-in has actually been something that's been very, very helpful for the client.
Nice. So kind of an accountability check-in in addition to the one-on-one coaching call. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we've been working together for a few months now. I would love for us to go back to when you started Fearless Coach Academy and share a little bit about where your business was at in terms of clients, in terms of income, in terms of your messaging. Where were you at when we started working together?
Yeah, I had actually been a part of a few groups that I thought were going to be helpful. So I joined a few groups before Peter that just were not successful at all. So where I was at before, I felt like I was in almost the same place I was at where I knew nothing. The group before, he kind of just focused on, it was a large group. They kind of were understaffed in some ways, so it was hard to grow. Yeah. So I would say I really had some ideas on what my business wanted to look like. I had a week by week because I actually have paperwork and I had a Christian certification process and that kind of stuff. So I knew what I wanted to help my client with, but I really just didn't know how to get there, I would say. And I didn't know the exact person I was looking for.
Okay. So yeah, you were unclear with the, you knew your niche, but you didn't know how to find them or where they were, especially online or offline. So that's one thing that's understands why we started working together. And I remember you sharing it again. We don't need to share the name of the program, but one thing that you felt frustrated with was that that previous coaching program taught you kind of one tactic, right? I think it was Instagram Reels at the time, but there wasn't really anything else. So there wasn't kind of a holistic system for giving you the support you need. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, how was this problem impacting you? Because when you don't, feel confident on your message or your niche or know how to find your clients, how is that impacting you in the business and personally?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it impacted me, and I kind of felt like I needed to do something else. I felt like this is what I really wanted to do. And I was at the point when I was thinking about working with Peter, I was almost at the point where I felt like I needed to just try something else. And it also kind of got me to think I wasn't the best coach, so it made me think that my skills weren't the best because nobody was coming. And, I've learned that wasn't true. And I think that's the case for a lot of people. When you're not successful in something, it's not always because you're not good at it. Sometimes it's just because you don't have the right answers.
Oh, so true. Yeah. It just gives me goosebumps because it's a common problem. I felt that when I was first starting, not knowing how to generate leads and get clients, and it erodes our confidence, doesn't it? And our belief in ourselves. Then that self-doubt creeps in, and imposter syndrome. And again, you can help people, but you're like, why are these people not, where are they, why am I not getting clients? You feel kind of like the world's best kept secret. So when we spoke, you had already worked with business coaches before. You knew you needed more help because you weren't getting it from who you've worked with previously. What were some of the fears or hesitancies or resistance you had around working with another business coach or working with me at that time?
I think the biggest thing was like, if you could actually help me, like that was, I don't even know if that would, I mean, I think that was a fear. And I think that was like really the only one. I knew I had the value. I knew I had like the time. I knew I had the ability to do it. I just wasn't sure if you were a person who could actually help me do it.
Okay. Yeah, that makes total sense. And was there anything that came up in our conversation, anything that I shared with you that made you feel more comfortable knowing that I was going to be a good mentor for you?
Yeah, like you answered all my questions, you know. Um, I would say that was like the biggest thing, and it was the biggest thing throughout this whole thing. Like you and the team answered every question I had, and the thing that wasn't holding me back, like it wasn't, it was just if I was willing to put the work in, you know, that's the
Yes.
only thing that can hold somebody back from being successful. And you don't require or expect a ton of work either, because everything is really narrowed down. So I would say the concern, I'm kind of jumping ahead, but the concern is probably just if you could help me or not.
That's okay. No worries. That's totally fine to jump ahead. So, um, yeah. And again, one of the things that I was really happy with, Will, with you in particular, is that you were willing to be quick to ask for support when you were unclear on something, or like you came to all of our mastermind calls with your questions prepared. They were laser focused questions. It wasn't a waste of time of like a story attached to it. It was like, okay, this is what I'm unclear on, and this is what my question is. And that actually helps you go in momentum really, really well. So for those
Yeah.
of you that are watching this, that are looking to work with a coach, that you get out what you put into any program at the end of the day. Yes, you've got to have a great mentor. Yes, you've got to have great support and accountability. But if you're not reaching out for support, if you're not active in implementing, then you're not going to get the result that you really want, right?
Yeah.
So
The one thing I forgot to mention was like the faith-based aspect. So
yeah.
I'm like, I had no problems with that. So like if you're a Christian who's kind of looking into working with a program, like Peter is still great for that. So don't let that be a concern.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, let's zoom into the things that you learned, because there's a lot that we teach. It's a balance that we teach in Fearless Coach Academy of like giving you great, amazing content while not giving you too much to where it feels like you're drinking from a fire hose, which is hard to do. That's a hard balance to make. But what are 2 or 3 things that you learned that you actually learned and implemented that had the biggest result in your business?
Yeah, I would say there's a lot of stuff I kind of was always thinking I couldn't do, like building out like big words that like you always hire somebody to do, but you actually have the ability to do it, like coaching, like funnels, website stuff, like that kind of stuff. I never really thought I was able to do that, but it's actually easier than I thought. So I would say that. Another one, the second one I would say is like just being able to do more than you think, you know? So if you really put the time in, you can commit, you can actually do a lot of things. There was this study I was even reading today, which is crazy. It's like the average person really does focused work for like 2 to 3 hours a day, you know?
Yeah.
So a lot of wasted time. So you're able to, if you commit to it, you can get a lot done in not a lot of time. And then the third one is just like the community for sure. Definitely like just learning how things work and getting the help that you need and getting the support that you need, and really like believing in humans, I think, because a lot of times people don't do that. So
Yeah.
it's very trustworthy. So I would say like the trustworthy thing is something that's really, really helpful.
Yeah.
So
And thank you for trusting me, number one, right? And then trusting the coaches on my team and trusting the community that we've built. I'm very, very proud of the community that we built and the connections that students have with each other. So those 3 things were one, simplifying the funnels and the tech stuff. That was stuff that, you had a belief that you couldn't do and you discovered you could do, and you can obviously lean on us supporting you. Which I love. And then just obviously doing the work, knowing that you can do the work, and then relying on support from the community. What were the tangible results? So what were the results that you got through Fearless Coach Academy in terms of clients, in terms of income, or in terms of anything else unrelated to that you're really proud of?
Yeah, so my Instagram reels, I've been getting a lot more followers, which is awesome. I've had a few get over to like 1,200 views, which is really, really encouraging. So taking advice from Peter and Anthony on that, and then seeing clients, when I took the first payment of like, it was $700 a month. It was like it just felt good, It felt like, wow, this is kind of an exciting thing. So I've seen clients in the past, but getting clients for the $500 to $700 a month range was kind of a new thing. So I think understanding people are willing to pay that, and the results that I get them was actually really, really helpful. So
Yeah.
and then the last one is just like learning more about myself, which I think is really important, so learning more about what I actually want to do and the people I actually want to work with. So Peter goes the first few weeks, he goes a lot in depth on what are the people's struggles, like what did you struggle with, that kind of stuff. Honestly, is extremely beneficial for anybody because it has you open up to what you've really been through in life and share it, which
Thank you for
I've
sharing
never
that.
been afraid to do that, but
But some people, have had stuff and again, where it's hard to share, it takes courage to share. It's not only beneficial in your business to do that sort of work, it's beneficial in our emotional life and in our spiritual life to do that sort of work, right? So I love that. Well, you've been in Fearless Coach Academy for a few months now. What kind of coach would you recommend this to? You understand the content and the community and the coaching and the accountability that you get. What kind of coach do you think would benefit most from Fearless Coach Academy?
I actually really thought about this one more than the other ones.
Yeah.
But two words came up, and the first one was like experience, and then the second one was humility. So I think we oftentimes either have to experience things ourselves or pay for experience. So I would say people who want to experience their business and their personal life, and not only their business, like this isn't just something for growing your business, but it grows you personally. So your personal life, and also people who are not prideful, the way this fails is if you do it kind of half-heartedly, or you have other businesses in mind and you're kind of working with them too, or if you just don't want to implement the steps. So humility in people who don't want to have to go through experiences and waste time, but actually listen to somebody who's been and experienced what you want to be. So yeah.
Love that. Yeah, you got to do the work. There's no way around doing the work, right? We're not a magic pill. You're not a magic pill. No coach is. So you got to be coachable. You got to be open-minded. Thank you for sharing that. And then last thing, and this may be a little bit repetitive, but the last question I have is for those watching this who would want to know they want help. They want help in generating leads and getting clients and clarifying their niche, but they may be on the fence. They may have some resistance around the investment or the time commitment. What would you say to them?
Yeah, that goes back to the experience thing. So you either can experience things yourself and waste a lot of time in money, doing it the wrong way, or you can kind of find somebody who has experienced what you've been through and got past it, so you can learn how to get through it. So I think experience is like one of the most important things in life, because your life is really based on experiences. So if I could ever pay somebody to get me through an experience that I don't know about, I would always do it.
100%. That's how I always hire my mentors, for the same reason. So, well, Will, for those that want to connect with you, where should they go to connect with you?
Yeah, so I have a few different ways to connect. What would be the best way to do it?
Share whatever. I mean, you could share a website, you could share social media, name on social media, whatever you think would be the best.
Yeah, so I have a website that's just called willdonahueministries.com.
Okay.
So I've got a ton of information on there, some testimonies of people that have been impacted by me, and a little bit more about me.
I love
Yeah.
it. So willdonahueministries.com. If you want to connect with Will, definitely go there. And if you want help in your coaching business, that's obviously what me and the team here at Fearless Coach Academy do. If it makes sense to explore getting help, I'm happy to schedule a complimentary 15-minute brainstorm call with you, with me or my team, where we can just explore and take a look at your niche and your price point and your offer and see what's possible for you, see if it makes sense, and literally map out a game plan for you to implement to generate more leads and get clients. So if you want that and you're watching the recording of this, the easiest place is scroll below the video, pick a day and time on the calendar. It's a short 15-minute call. There's no pressure. There's no expectation. It's just an exploration call. If we feel like we can't help, we'll be honest. We'll recommend somebody else. But if we feel like we can, we'll book in another call. We'll map out a whole game plan and talk about how. So, Will, I appreciate you so much, brother. You've been an amazing student. You've become a really great friend, man. And I just appreciate and can't wait to see where you grow from here. So I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Yeah.
See you soon.